Hello, and welcome to Health and Fitness Redefined. I'm your host, Anthony Amen. Join me today as we take a dive into the world of health and fitness, where we learn how to overcome adversity, depict fact versus fiction, and see health and fitness in a whole new light. Today, we have the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Cody Kelly, the man who needs no introduction. He's been on here a couple of times before, and today we're going to bring you reasons why Cody should have joined the gym earlier. That's right. We're going to talk all about what he knew now compared to what he thinks he knew then and bring it all together and hopefully help you guys out. So without further ado, let's get him on in here. What's up, Cody?
Anthony, brother, I appreciate you allowing me to be back on the show. Hopefully I didn't make a mockery of your show and embarrass me and you last time. So I'm super excited about this. Thank you so much for the invitation. I appreciate the warm intro. I'm just excited, man. Let's go.
I'm excited too. So we don't really need to do too much of an introduction. I mean, we kind of hit that all last time, but give us like the 30-second reminder of who is Cody. Ready, set, go.
Cody is a husband, a human, all around good friend, minister. I'm an average guy, like everybody else. Well, just a human being. I don't try to be anything more than what I am, but I just try to help people, love people, and work hard. And I think that's something that's missing, man. We got to put in the work. And, I want to be on here because I want to talk about the things I wish I would have known, mistakes. This lie that, when you see on Instagram and you see everybody in their filtered photo and you think that they just got there overnight. There's a lot to that. And I just want to speak, truth and help somebody along the way.
Awesome. Well, thank you for coming on, man. And let's just kind of dive right into this.
Yeah.
So things you wish you would have known in the beginning. I want to talk about pre-gym. So we're going like
pre-gym.
What was that first contemplating moment like, hey, I need to go hit the gym. I need to go work out. Kind of give us a rundown of where you were mentally at that point.
Sure. So pre-gym, I think I got my first gym membership at 16. I think my mom had to help me join, back in the days of Orland Park. Illinois. I was, still in high school going into my junior year. So, wanted to join the gym they had basketball courts. I was on the basketball team. I wanted to improve my skills. So the gym was just a great option. What I did not realize is that every gym is different. And sometimes, what attracts us to a gym isn't what we should go for. So, and especially like, 15 plus years ago, everything had to be like huge, big box, right? Like every gym was like 100,000 square feet, multiple volleyball courts and stuff. And then we hit a phase where you had smaller gyms. It was more, the studio and client one-on-one sessions. So somewhere now we're like in between trying to figure this out. I joined this gym that should not be named because I don't want to get sued. And it's a great gym. It was a great, but
we'll call it Gym X.
Gym X. But the thing about Gym X is just because you join a great gym and a great environment doesn't mean you still have the tools that are necessary to go further. And I ended up, because you try to do a lot of things autonomously. Like I don't need a personal trainer. I don't need anybody to work on my diet. And I injured myself. I actually injured my back at the gym, just trying to, be young and dumb. And, I was playing basketball, not stretching. I thought I don't need anybody to show me how to do this. You pay for this money to join this facility and, ignorance gets you. Sometimes I think we're turned on by the flashy lights, but not the truth. No matter where you gym or where you decide to just gather for the fitness climate, the people make the environment, the instructions, the process, the trainers, the coaches, the subject matter professionals. And at the time, man, it was a brand new gym out in the suburbs. everybody was my age. Everybody was there working for the summer. So you had 16-year-olds, teaching 16-year-olds. So that was bound to mess up. So but yeah, that's me pre-gym life.
So pre-gym life, you're hitting the gym, you're playing some basketball, trying to kind of improve your skills a little bit.
Yeah.
Did you have any thought at this point? Was any of it for your physical or mental health, or to you, was it all just, I'm playing some ball, that's it?
I'm playing some ball, that's it. I did not see the connection between physical exercise and mental health. I think when you're young, you only do things because it's cool, or you think it's cool, or you have this idea of what cool is. I was like, well, I'm playing, everybody's here. The basketball team would gather there, and so it was more of a social aspect to it. And I always think that's the wrong way. I believe in the power of the social aspect as far as being around positive people and feeding off of positive energy, but it had nothing to do with health. And I think that's the problem with, I think, a lot of people when they make their decisions. They're making their decisions not based off of how this is actually going to improve my life, the health behind it, the mental health, the physical health, right? The nutritional health, all these things that kind of add layers to it. They're just like, hey, it's a cool spot. My friend told me about it. The membership is $20 a month. Let's do it. So, that was a mistake early on when I found out. And moving forward, I had to find an environment where I could personally develop. And that's a little bit tricky going forward.
I like that. So I'm kind of thinking back to when I dabbled with exercise before I got serious. And it was kind of that same thing. You just, I need to look good for the girls. I need to go work on my biceps. And you said the 16-year-old teaching 16-year-olds.
Yeah.
And you're just stoned with the friend that you think knows how to work out, and you really don't know what you're doing. And just thank God I didn't get as more hurt than I did. I'm sure you feel the same way.
Yeah.
Tell me, well, how did you injure yourself? You mentioned you injured your back. What happened?
So, I a lot of things. I was out of position. And what I mean by that, like, there are youth sports. We have to really take a deep look into youth sports because it's good and it's bad. And what I mean by that, youth programs are getting fed so much sponsorships now. You have AAU, and I'm not, trust me, I'm not talking about any organization. But what happens is you get these group of young individuals, right, who have not developed physically, they have not developed mentally, emotionally, and in all these categories, they're kids. And you start training them like adults and putting their bodies, through adult practices. And what I mean by that, like, you're doing post-up drills and, stuff that you should probably not be so heavily reliant upon, especially at, 12, 13, 14. And basically I was undersized. And because, when you're like, 13, 14, everybody's like the same height. And then you got the one person that grew to like 6'7" over the summer. And it's like, what the heck? So I was undersized, playing center, playing power forward, and I was doing like just damage to my spine, backing down bigger individuals, guys that weighed more than me, that were taller than me, were more athletic than me. They were just larger individuals than I am. So, but you're trying to go out there, compete, you're trying to earn a spot, you're trying to get playing time, you're trying to develop your skill. And I injured myself, and I didn't know how bad. I would always have lower back tightness. So, I never looked upon it. I didn't know what that meant. I just thought that was, no pain, no gain. Right. So, lo and behold, one day I'm practicing out in the courts, and I go to do a layup. And when I come down from it, like, it felt hollow. I think that was the best way to describe it. Like, it was a hollowness in my lower back. And I noticed like I didn't have the same strength. So I was like, you know what? I'm probably overdoing it. Let me just chill for a couple weeks. And the thing about some of these like internal like disc injuries, right? It's not always so severe. Like, sometimes you see like the Dwight Howard, you see like the freak accidents and incidents, and it's like you can spot it, right? Like there's the video of the guy tearing his chest while doing incline. You see the actual muscle rip, right? You see that's apparent. But for a lot of injuries, they're so subtle, you don't see it, but it's chronic. So, I would have just ongoing back issues. Basically, I went 12 years. And I had to get surgery. You know, I think that's the best way to say it. So I wish I would have known that there was a process that I needed to abide by for just young children, really. And we were kids. I mean, I think it's the best way to say it. I wish I would have had somebody step in and say that's too much physical activity for them. I don't blame anybody. Don't get it twisted. I don't blame anybody, but I do think we were pushed a little bit too hard. And looking back, I really wished somebody could have properly assessed my athletic ability, had a frank conversation. It was like, Cody, you're good. Basketball might not be your sport. I think there's other sports that you can actually do better in, right? Like, I wish I would have took up golfing, right? Like, there's other things. No, I'm being honest, you know. So
Mr. Tiger Woods over here.
Tiger Woods, yeah, but you know, you get caught up in one mode, and nobody talked to me about that. So it was like, well, you see it on TV, I have to do it, right? So yeah, that's it.
That's deep, man. I just want to talk about the youth sports very briefly. Something that I guess is, you said, kind of needs to be fixed, and you see it all everywhere in the world. It's these coaches teaching these kids might be good at the sport, but they have no exercise science background. They have no physiological background, like nothing. So they're training these kids without having an understanding of how the human body works.
Right.
That's going to lead to injury.
Right.
It's a total recipe for disaster. And it's something I see all the time with kids. The coaches are having to do things that I'm just like, and they leave you in the weight room alone?
Yeah. Alone.
What?
No, we were 13 doing cleans, like powerlifting stuff. That's why, like, that's why I look back now, like, you have, they're just not certified. You know, like, I think coaching is one aspect of it, but the physical science behind it, that's why you need a team. You need basically somebody on staff who is certified in this science that can actually assist you, because all the coach is just going to basically say is go harder, do more, you know, and to your own detriment. So
not realizing, okay, let's take a step back. Or like, I see deadlifting. I think that's the most exercise that could be the best, but everyone does it wrong and always ends up hurting themselves. And I'm seeing these kids that are like, oh, it's not going to hurt. Yeah, because you're 15. Like, in a couple of years, you're going to feel these lifts that you're doing now totally wrong and out of alignment. And then whose fault is it going to be?
Yep.
So I think it's an understanding. But let's move forward. So let's talk. You go from this young kid, say teenage years, we step forward into our 20s. So let's hop in there. What's something that you were focusing on in your 20s, something that you wish you would have known, something somebody would have told you around that age group?
You can't skip the process. And what I mean by that, 20s, 20-year-olds aren't focused on dieting. And what I mean by that, I don't even like using the word diet. I mean like a healthy lifestyle, right? Like a healthy eating lifestyle. You know, I was sitting there and, because by that age, you're at your optimal, stature and phase. So I would eat like McDonald's and then go play basketball and destroy and come out like I'm ready. But what I didn't realize that performing without the foundation was going to lead to serious injury, because now your body is just basically, going off of its, the strength of its own capacity, but you have nothing really fueling it and supporting it so that it can repair itself. I would try to work out and do all this stuff, and I would hurt myself because I was not eating correctly. I did not do anything but chest. As far as lifting, I didn't do legs day. You couldn't pay me to do legs. You couldn't really convince me that I needed to do arms because in basketball, they always say you can't work your shoulders. You throw your shot off. I would do some back, but very little. And I would basically hit the weights, once, twice a week, hitting chest. And what I realized is that your body can grow out of proportion. The body was not meant to be overdeveloped in one area, underdeveloped in another area. It's supposed to be one body. It's not like you have multiple bodies. You have one body with multiple organs, but it's one body, right? So, what you don't do actually does hurt you. So I wasn't doing any of that. I wasn't eating correctly. I was not exercising efficiently and correctly. I did not know technique. I thought, I was ego lifting. I was trying to, which is crazy now. I thought 225 pounds on a bench was impressive, but not if you can't do it, it's fine. But I'm just saying, I didn't understand what it meant to really design your physique. And I was doing so many things just out of alignment. I really could cause serious injury. And I think even some of the issues I faced in my back a lot of it was because of, just poor training methods, poor foundation. So when I got into my 20s, like every 20-year-old, you get confused, because what happens in your 20s, you're old enough to be an adult, but you're young enough to be naive and lack wisdom, right? So
I like that. That's
yeah.
cool.
And basically you have all this energy. You're like, yeah, let's do it. What are we going to do though? So like, that's the feeling of every 20-year-old. You have all this energy, but you don't know what to do with what and how you feel. So you just do anything, right? So because you're still trying to find yourself. You're still trying to make that life for yourself. So, I did, just crazy. I mean, even I think about how we, afterward we would hoop. So on Saturdays we'd gather at the gym. We'd literally play ball from noon to like 7 p.m. And then we'd hit up like Wendy's. So like, and no offense, Wendy's. I'm not just, you do not sue. I love you. Just that's not what you should be doing after you work out. So but all that, like, it just took a toll on me. And then when you start exiting out of your 20s, everything starts to catch up to you. And now literally 26, my back, I got to the point I couldn't stand up straight anymore. And then something ripped like in my right leg, and I had to have surgery. So 27, I literally spent my year 27 rehabbing.
Wow.
Yeah.
But if I were a betting man, I would say that this kind of made you stop and think. That rehab time where you're like, all right, what am I doing wrong? And at that point, when you hit your later 20s, it's, let me take a step back. Let me reassess. Let me figure out, oh, wait, if I just work my chest, what's going to happen? My shoulders are going to roll forward.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to have really bad trap pain because now I have poor posture. So maybe this isn't such a good idea, having too tight of a chest.
Yeah.
If I work my back muscles, I can help to roll those shoulders back and help alleviate some of that tension out of my neck. So stuff like that. Did that happen for you? You kind of felt that like wake up call?
Yeah, the wake up call was real. When I was laying there, post surgery, and the doctors are giving you all this medicine, and the medicine it is what it is, man. It's a drug, So you're dealing with that, and then you're psychologically is messing with you because you're trying to figure out, how do you deal with pain, and then you're not physically able to, like, I would get dizzy spells walking, because it was a major surgery. So like I had to start from ground zero. And then I had to realize, like, health isn't one thing. Health is holistic. It is a complete thing. Right. And then I didn't want to take the medicine that the doctors were giving me, because, they were subscribing, premium maximum strength, oxycodone. I mean, just a lot of stuff you start looking at. You're like, people get addicted to this stuff and they deal with these addictions for years to come. So I was like, I don't want to do this. At the same time, I literally, like, I have this scar on my lower back because I had something removed, so
crazy, man.
Yeah. So you're like, well, what did I do? So literally, like, I had to research how to, like, rebuild your body, so, I had to actually focus on legs. I hate it. I didn't want to do legs. I had to focus on glute development, lower back exercises, so, I was like the only guy in the gym on Monday. I'm doing squats, and then it was, so and what was crazy now, you know, like Anthony, you follow me on Mondays. That's all I do is, you know, so, but, you know, having to restart. One thing that we have to be honest with is no matter who you interview and who you connect with, the people that you run into, anybody that's ever had success has hit rock bottom and they've had to restart. And restart is where you get your purpose.
That is so true, man. I just think a lot of stories, like we do this. I know you host your podcast, which I highly recommend everyone check out.
It is what it is.
But you hear the same story. It's every single guest, every single person. It's, I hit rock bottom here. This happened. This happened. No one ever hops into it, goes, yeah, so you know what? I was 16 and I was like, let me just go work out. And then I got really good at it. And, you know, yeah, life is great. You don't ever hear that. You hear, oh, I got so screwed up to the point that I was about to die. Mm. And then I realized that if I don't start working out now, I wasn't going to make it in the next 5 years. And those are the stories that's what everything has in common right there. That rock bottom mentality kind of build themselves up. And I think that's the answer to the question, something that we spoke about, what you wish you would have known. I wish I would have got my life together so I didn't hit rock bottom. Right. And I wish that other people would wake up. And I think that's why we do this, is a wake-up call for other people. So you don't have to go through what we went through, because it sucks.
It does. It does. And I'm going to tell everybody, you know, yes, can you come back from hitting rock bottom? Absolutely. But it's how you come back, right? So, you know, it's not fun. It's not fun trying to figure it out, you know, and at the time, you know, I'm worried about this. And then, you know, you can only be on short-term disability for so long, you know, so you start thinking about your job and it's like, you know, I got to get back. I got to get physically able to get back. So, yeah, you can do it, but listen to us. You don't have to. You can skip the whole rock bottom phase and just jump to these results if you start now and listen and realize it's a process. It's a journey. You need a coach. You need an instructor. You need a dietitian. What's going to work for you is not going to work for everybody else. You need a specialized individual plan and somebody to walk you through it and stay with you while being on your journey.
I need to hire you to be my spokesperson, man. I love that. So, yeah, take this, and I want you to add to it a little more. Is there anything else that it's like that burning desire? So, besides the injury, besides the having the understanding, need to work the full body. Yeah. What was something else that you can give as a take-home message? Something that, even if someone's in their 60s and needs to start working out, what's something you can tell these people?
Yeah. Don't judge yourself by others. I think two things happen. You start saying, I don't look like this person. I don't look like, you know, Michael Hearn. I don't look like Arnold in the 70s. I don't look like Mike Rashid or, you know, Simeon Panda or whoever, or Massey Reyes, or, you know, whoever you follow. Understand that they had a starting point too. They didn't always look like that. and if they, you know, talk to you and be honest, it's hard to keep that look up. And then realize also that, you know, we do this and your reason for doing this should not be fame. If you're doing this to get some type of social media following or clout, you're in it for the wrong reasons. You should be doing it as a way to help people, as a way to see people improve in their own lives and to build that confidence and these healthy habits. That's how you create a better world. That's how you create a better space for everybody. If you're just doing it to, you know, get this weird following and you're trying to monetize efforts by, you know, not sharing your truth and story, and you have that right. Nobody can take that from you, but you will hurt a lot of people in the process, because you'll have somebody who will look at you and say, you know, why am I not that person? And they will judge themselves negatively according to a fake standard that you put up. So when you're out on social media and you're taking your photos and you're taking your videos, understand there's somebody watching you who's looking for inspiration and help, and you owe it to that individual to be there.
I like that. You owe it to other people to be your true self, to show the true story,
Right.
and not some made up fiction. This is me on 200 filters, and
Mhm.
my face is actually flawless. I don't know if you can tell.
You do, because I'm telling you, you see a lot of false advertisement. I always say this, and I know a lot of people, and they'll reach out like, I did this, and I'm like, where's the video? And I'm not trying to be mean, but when it's real, you don't have to say what you did. It'll be there. It's evident, so just be you, be a help toward others. Don't be mean. And what I mean that's so bad, like so many people get intimidated by the gym and by gym people. Like some of the nicest people in the world are those who've actually like gotten to a certain level. Some of the jerks and the buttholes you meet, along the way are people who think they're there. Don't be a butthole. Nobody likes that crap. Nobody likes the person in the gym who is clanging and loud and just rude and obnoxious, and you can't speak to that person. Be nice, be considerate, and wipe down your equipment. That's all I ask.
I'm gonna add one more before we wrap this up.
Gotcha.
Help those that need it.
Yes.
And I think if you know what you're doing and have some kind of background, whatever it may be, put out a helping hand for those individuals in your life that don't know. Maybe they're just too afraid to go. But if you say, hey, I'll go with you. You know what? You don't want to look like a phone. You can work out together and really show something. Or maybe there's someone in the gym you could tell is kind of just looking around. And I wouldn't say go and offer that person advice because people don't really like that, but say hi.
Right.
Be a human being, because to most people, the gym is very intimidating.
Yeah.
So be that person that can extend that helping hand out and help somebody else that may need it.
Exactly.
But I love it, man. So I want you to tell everyone, where can they find you? Where can they find your podcast? Break it down, my brother.
You can connect with me on IG, on Instagram at Cody, at the banner below at CVMK33. That's where I post a lot of stuff. I have a lot of videos I haven't posted. I don't have the time to literally edit any more stuff. So connect with me. My podcast is Mondays at 7 p.m. YouTube at CV Space K. I'm going away from the Facebook Live platform. I love at Facebook. Don't sue me. Y'all just don't pay, so I love Facebook, but connect with me on YouTube at CV Space K, Instagram at CVMK33. I respond to everything. Connect with Anthony at Redefined Fitness Mount Sinai. Let him know that you love his podcast. Let him know that you support him. Look, guys, I always say this: following is free. All it takes is you to click a follow button and say, hey, I like what you do. Keep it up. That encourages us to keep going. Let us know you're out there. I look forward to hearing from you.
I love it, man. Thank you for that shout out. I appreciate it. And thank you for joining us on this week's episode of Health and Fitness Redefined. Don't forget, subscribe to our show and join us next week as we dive deeper into this ever-changing field. And remember, fitness is a journey, not a destination. That sums up this week's episode. Until next time, thanks for coming on, Cody.
Anytime.